Hi, this is my speech on the Space Shuttle Challenger tragedy. The first question is, what could NASA have done differently? There are numerous things that NASA could have done differently. One of the biggest things that they had a problem with was their pressure to launch, because dignitaries were going to be in town. Yeah, it's probably cool to have the vice president there to push the button or whatever it was. But when there's an issue with weather during that time, the weather has to trump the fact that there's a dignitary there. Half of the flights that they had ever flown had experienced some kind of O-ring failure with soot being found on the outside of the rockets. The temps were way outside the test windows, and the temps were substantially lower than anything that they had ever expected before. The primary O-ring was too cold to see properly. The putty that they used as a backup, or as the first line, I guess, to protect the O-rings, failed at that temperature also. Thiokol could have done a number of things. NASA could have done a number of things along with Thiokol to prevent the tragedy. Second question is, what could Roger Bougielet done differently, if anything? The poor guy died knowing that people were blaming the entire thing on him. 6 months before the Challenger explosion, in a memo to managers at Thiokol, Roger said a catastrophe of the highest order involving loss of human life is likely. He wrote that the elastic seals of the joints of the multi-stage booster rockets tend to stiffen and unseal in cold weather. 3 weeks after the tragedy, he was quoted on an NPR in an interview that says, "I fought like hell to stop that launch. I'm so torn up inside I can hardly speak about it." This tragedy left the poor guy with severe headaches. He was steeped in depression, was unable to eat. Another quote from the NPR that was recorded in 1986 was, "I'm very angry that nobody listened, and we were talking to the people who had the power to stop that launch." So I don't think there was anything else Roger could have done. As far as the third question, being what can students in the future do with their loyalty management and protecting public welfare? That's a tough one, because we all have a responsibility to make sure that society stays as safe as possible. I think going along the same line as Mr. Bougielet did is something that I would expect somebody coming out of class now to do. He did everything he could, short of getting on Facebook and ranting about it. He didn't have that option. To me, that's not a good option. It doesn't get things done the way you want them to. However, now we do have the Whistleblower Protection Act. It was passed March 21st in 1989. That would help protect somebody like that would be afraid of losing their job. Being advanced in age, I appreciate losing an opportunity to have a career and not being able to take care of your family. So I understand where he was coming from, worried about losing his job. And that's what's nice about the Whistleblower Protection Act now, that was passed since this tragedy took place, that helps protect people like that. So that's my feelings on this. Thanks.